And a lot of times we see things. We see things on TV, we see things at school, we see things on our phones, we see things at work, and understand and it becomes desirable. And even though we know that it's not right for us, it's not the best thing, we see it. And so the first question you want to ask yourself is, what are you looking at? What are the things that you're looking at that you know that aren't right for you? It's not the best thing for you. Hey guys, it's AP. Hey, today's message today is on Ephesians chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so the verse says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with the promise, so that it may go well with you and you may enjoy long life on the earth." Okay, so basically what that scripture is talking about is children obeying their parents. Okay, but this goes across a long line. It also is talking about obeying God, obeying authority. Okay, but it is based upon children. Okay, so when we're talking about obedience, what are the benefits of obedience? And let's think about that. Like when you listen to your parents, what happens? Normally, you get a blessing. You get something. If you clean your room, if you do your chores, you get the allowance, or you get the things that you want. But when you disobey, things happen to where you don't get what you feel like you should have gotten. Okay, and so what we're going to do is going to jump into the story of Adam and Eve. And so basically, when Adam and Eve, when they're created, they were given this land, right? And they were there, and it was beautiful land. It was great, water, trees, and they pretty much only had one rule, and that was stay away from this tree. Everything else you could touch, you could help grow, the animals to play with, all these things, but there was this one tree that you had to stay away from. And so one day, Adam and Eve are walking through their beautiful garden, and they run into Satan. He's a snake on a tree, and he basically asked him, hey, or he asked Eve, hey, what are you, can you really not eat from this tree? And she begins to question, and that's the problem is when we begin to question our parents, we begin to question our coaches, we begin to question authority when all they're trying to do is what's best for us. And so let's jump into that story really quick and just kind of get a little dive deeper into it. And so that fall, and so the first thing he asked her is, did God really say that you can't eat from this tree? And she said, no, we may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden. You must not touch it, or you will die. You will die. And Satan answers, you will not certainly die. For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Okay, so that's the first thing that happens with disobedience. We're hearing other things, we're seeing other things, we're seeing what the world does, we're seeing what other kids do, we're seeing what other people do, and we're like, well, it seems like what they're doing is right. And then we begin to challenge what we know is right. And the next thing happens is, when the women saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. And she also gave some to her husband. Okay, so the three main things we want to focus on is that the first thing is that she saw it. Okay, and a lot of times we see things. We see things on TV, we see things at school, we see things on our phones, we see things at work, and understand and it becomes desirable. And even though we know that it's not right for us, it's not the best thing, we see it. And so the first question you want to ask yourself is, what are you looking at? What are the things that you're looking at that you know that aren't right for you? It's not the best thing for you. Secondly, there was and that's the lust of the eyes. That's looking through, allowing us to see things and knowing that this isn't right. Okay, the second thing was lust of the flesh. She saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food, and so we after we see it, now we start to desire it and we want it. We want the things that maybe it brings. All this fruit. She had a garden full of fruit, full of all different types of fruit, but she just had to have this one. And it all starts with the eyes, and then she wants to taste it. She understands, like, man, it's probably really good. I've never tasted this one, and that's the thing that gets us in trouble. And the last part was, and it was also desirable for gaining wisdom, and that's the pride of life. Trying to do more, trying to get more, always trying to go after the next thing, and trying to be like, you know what? and gaining wisdom, and just like Satan said, so you can be like God, so you can know good from evil. But what did it get them in the end? It may not seem like it was bad, and he was telling her, no, you surely won't die. You won't die because I know when you eat this fruit, it's going to take time to die. But he lied to her. And that's a lot of times with our pride, with our eyes, and what our flesh does. It lies to us. Because then we go and do that thing. It's like, oh man, that felt great. Or that is great. Or this new thing it's great. It's awesome. And yes, sin does feel good at first, but it does end in death. And Adam and Eve didn't end up dying. And this is why we all die. It's because they've set this pace of sin for the rest of time. And so the questions I have for you, what are you looking at? What are you desiring at? What's in your heart that you know is not right, but you're still pursuing? You know, what is going to have to end? And is it attacking your obedience and causing you to be disobedient? Or on the vice versa, what is God calling you to do and you're running from? To be honest with you, I was running from doing this. I've been telling people for a long time, hey, you need to go after your dreams. You need to do this. You need to do that, and tell them to go. And I say, you know, today is my day. Today I need to tell myself to go after it. And so that's why I'm talking to you now. So what are you not doing? What is God's obedience in calling you to do, and what is calling you not to do? Check those things in your life. Okay. So the verses today were Genesis 3. You can check that out, and also Ephesians 6. Take some time, go through that, and also take some time to check your obedience. Are you receiving blessings because of your obedience? Are you receiving curses because of your disobedience? Make the choice today. Take care.